Basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino, and I'll be honest, the show is not complete until Big Shot Rob steps into the building. Big Shot Rob is here, and Rob, I did a little NFL draft before you came in, but you're here now so we can get into it. Rob, your New York Jets, my man, I think you're in business right now. Leonard Williams, who a lot of people considered the best player in this draft, falls to you at 6. For a defense that's already tremendous, you just got another big piece. Rob, what are you thinking right now?
Well, to be honest, Joe, when he first got picked, I was like, we got a major steal. I wasn't too crazy about it because you know how hung I've been on Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, you wanted him. I understand that.
I've been waiting too long. I want a Jets quarterback that's going to last me at least 10 years that I can watch him instead of 5 years before he gets injured or his whole life falls apart. But just a complete steal. I mean, great pass rusher. You know, we've had the deal with Muhammad Wilkerson where he might be opting out after the season, leaving us. And right now, that's just a perfect void, especially this kid. Complete steal because originally before Mariota, he was top 2 in the draft. He was going to go number 2 to the Titans. And he fits this defense. Todd Bowles now he is set. This is probably one of the best Jets defense you're going to see in history right now.
I was going to say, Rob, going into next season, I really think that they have a shot to be considered the best defense in the NFL. I mean, we already knew how good they were up front already. Now you bring in Leonard Williams, you shore up that secondary. Man, things are looking good for the New York Jets. Other than that, though, Rob, I mean, look, you said Marcus Mariota, and I understand that. I really do, because I still think the thing that worries me with them is the Geno Smith and the Fitzpatrick battle. Now, I think you could get away with it for a year based on how much improved this roster will be. And if Todd Bowles learns anything from Bruce Arians, it's that you don't need a tremendous quarterback to win games in the NFL. But I still just don't know. That's the only thing I still have a hard time with.
You know, Joe, I was thinking about it yesterday because I'm putting my trust in Ryan Fitzpatrick going into the season. It's not Geno's team.
As am I.
And when we kind of had that pick, I was kind of stuck. I wanted Kevin White because if you look at it with Fitzpatrick really didn't have top wideouts throughout his career in Buffalo. Now he has Brandon Marshall and Decker. If you were to add White right into that equation, that's another top offense. You don't know how to shut those guys down. Those guys, especially White. White is one of the best wide receivers I've seen coming into this draft. I think he's better than Amari Cooper.
Wow. And see, that's the interesting thing about this draft is Devontae Parker, Kevin White, and Amari Cooper, all three of them, the upside was just through the roof. I mean, and I really feel like it came down to preference. We saw the Dolphins take Devontae Parker. Obviously, the Raiders get Amari Cooper, and then Kevin White falls to the Bears. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Jets could have gone in a lot of ways. They could have traded the pick. They could have tried to get Mariota, but they get Leonard Williams, and I just think when his name popped up, I mean, there was just so much excitement. And if you're a Jets fan like Rob, I think there's room to be excited. But, Rob, I'm a little bit excited as well. We saw the San Diego Chargers trade to the 15th pick with the 49ers to take Melvin Gordon. Now, Rob, let me ask you. For the Chargers, a team that for so long were so committed to running the football, they had a face at running back of LaDainian Tomlinson. They lose LT, age wears him down, they trade him away. Now they bring back Melvin Gordon. Can he bring back that emphasizing running the football for the Chargers?
Well, first off, he's not going to be no LT. There will not be another LaDainian Tomlinson.
Let's make that clear right off the bat.
But Gordon definitely fits the role that San Diego's been missing. You know, Ryan Matthews, he's been great for them, but he's had his ups and downs with injuries, a couple bad games. But now you throw Gordon into there now. I think it's going to be a good fit. Maybe we'll see maybe 1,000 yards rushing out of him, maybe 900 to 1,000 yards, but definitely fills that void that San Diego's been missing since LT has left.
Absolutely. I think that's the exciting thing is when you look at what Mike McCoy wants to do, I certainly think that his emphasis really is on running the football, and it's certainly going to help having him there. And honestly, we've hit the NFL draft a lot. Rob, I want to talk some basketball because not just the playoffs that we have happening right now, but we also have a lot of news in aside from the playoff run. Billy Donovan accepting the job as the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach. Rob, I mean, look, he had a great gig there in Florida. He was by far the best Florida Gators basketball coach of all time, winning 2 national titles, really every single year having that program being relevant. Did the decision to move from Florida, I mean, look, I don't think he was ever going to leave unless it was for the right NBA job, but when you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook on your roster, I think that makes your decision a little bit easier to make.
Well, now the big thing is, though, Joe, with Billy Donovan is you got to keep Kevin Durant happy.
Yes.
And in this first year, he has to prove to Kevin Durant, where last year was totally with the injuries and everything. I know everything hasn't gone right since NBA Finals when we last had James Harden, but he has to lead this Thunder team back to where they should be, a 60-win-plus team. That's where they should be, especially now. You get Durant back healthy next year. You're going to have Westbrook coming off this MVP caliber year, and Elvis Kanter, and that's a big 3 right there that you definitely need. I love this signing of Billy Donovan, but he has to emphasize right away we're in it to win, because you know what? Kevin Durant could easily walk out. I've heard rumors about going to Washington, to his hometown. New York, I've been hearing about trading picks to try to get him. And, I mean, you really have to keep this guy happy.
I mean, do you think it's going to be a huge distraction next year? I mean, obviously in the media, that's all we're going to talk about. But I don't know. Could you see Kevin leaving the Thunder?
I actually could. I mean, you look at OKC, Joe. OKC's not a big market.
No.
You go out to LA, you go out to New York. What are you going to get? You're going to get your own commercials. You're going to get your own brand and stuff. And you just keep developing, making money off that. And I don't think OKC really offers that much to him. If you go to New York, he's going to be he might get like a $25 million contract, end up making $50 million a year with all his endorsements and commercials.
See, I know he'll never say it, but part of me sometimes thinks too that he still feels like this is. I mean, I think Russell Westbrook, this was kind of his team this year, based on the way things went with Durant's injury and the way Russell Westbrook basically was in superhero mode every single night. I don't know. I'm with you. I really think that I feel more. I mean, when LeBron was making that decision that season where we all were kind of speculating, I didn't think as much of it as I do with Durant. Now, I definitely think Durant has a real shot to leave it, especially when you look at his options. I think if he went to Washington, there would be no dispute about who the man there is. I mean, John Wall is great. Bradley Beal is really good. But Kevin Durant would be the man in town. I think in OKC, there's still that shared spotlight. And I think Russell Westbrook will never fully give him that full throne that I think maybe he wants.
Well, the thing is, Joe, is Westbrook going to stoop down to that level where he's not going to be the guy who needs the ball constantly in his hand?
Yes.
With Durant off the court, we've seen what he's done. And you don't know if now going back if Westbrook's going to continue to want to play that way, especially the way he ended last year where he was just out rebounding people, getting big assists, scoring, putting up maybe 20 shots a game. And is that really going to be the fit for Kevin Durant? Now, my reason for saying that this is going to be big with the media with him, with LeBron James, I remember because I'm a big Knicks fan. I remember we used to see the LeBron jersey at Knicks games where people were making the number 6 jersey for him everywhere he would go, and it's really going to be a distraction. I'm sorry. I think Phil Jackson has a plan set up for this guy. There's no way Phil Jackson will let a guy like this get out of his way.
Wishful thinking, Rob, on the Knicks front, but we'll see on that one. Now, the next one we got to talk about is Andrew Wiggins winning Rookie of the Year. And let's be honest, I thought Andrew Wiggins Rookie of the Year, and it's not even close. No one's even in the same breath as him. Now, Rob, we talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the year, but I said so much about it. Honestly, I watched every minute of Andrew Wiggins in preseason in the Summer League, and you could just tell this kid was going to be tremendous. He was going to be a special player. He came into the NBA an elite defender. I mean, better playing at defense than half the guys in this league, and his offense was still a work in progress, as it still is. But I think when you have a player like him, his offense will come, it will develop. He's a defender at his heart, and you know what? When you have those traits, there's no question you're going to be a special player. But, Rob, when you look at Wiggins, Rookie of the Year, what's the next step for Andrew Wiggins in his career?
Make the playoffs. He has to. He is now the face of Minnesota. We see with Kevin Garnett, Joe, coming over there. I feel Kevin Garnett really went after these guys and pushed them to the level. I've read so many reports that he just screams at them. Because you know what? These guys enjoy losing. And I feel towards the end of the season, we saw a different Andrew Wiggins. Remember, we go back a year ago, Joe, when he played for Kansas. Remember how I used to torch him a lot all the time. I wasn't a big fan. The NCAA tournament,
Yeah, I remember
how
that.
disastrous that went. And now I was actually improved at the end of the year. I had Jabari Parker winning Rookie of the Year this year. If he doesn't go down with injury, I would
Yeah,
give him
you
a
have
good
a great
case of that.
chance. Absolutely.
But Wiggins really improved and showed me why Cleveland should have kept him. He honestly should have been on this Cleveland Cavaliers roster. I think they would have been in better shape with him than Kevin Love. And man, he's gonna do big things in the NBA.
He is, and look, I know at the end of the day, that's all we're gonna say now is they shouldn't have made that trade, and that's the truth. They shouldn't have made the trade. But when you look back at it, I was in favor of the Love deal, but now, I mean, when you look back at it, it was clearly a mistake. Andrew Wiggins is an outstanding basketball player. Now, we had 2 basketball games last night, but again, we were all watching the NFL draft, so not as much attention. The Bulls just blowing up the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Spurs and the Clippers, no surprise here, we're going to 7 games. I want to start more with that one, Rob. We kind of felt that if any of these series were going to go 7, it was this one. Who do you have winning the very important Game 7?
You know, my heart wants to go with the Spurs, but can you win 3 games in LA? That's the question mark, and I don't know. I'm going with LA on this one. I don't know if you could take 3 games. Yeah, you know what? You can't keep out the defending champs, but there's no way you're taking 3 games in LA. Nobody does that.
See, I'm with you. My head kind of tells me that the Clippers have the better chance here. But again, I'll never pick against the Spurs just based on what I see. And mainly because Tim Duncan, if there's anything that the Spurs have done in this series, it's they've adjusted very well the following game after a loss. And especially Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan has not been denied in the fourth quarter of these games. Now, it's going to be really tough. Again, you really start to see now just the speed and the size of the Clippers inside, and the youth that they have has really been a problem for the Spurs. But again, they have made the adjustments. They have bounced back very well in this series. I'm with you. It doesn't sound right when you say it, taking 3 on the road, but I just am not ready to call it quits for the Spurs. We'll certainly see, though. And then, Rob, you picked the Bulls to beat the Cavs in the next series when we still felt Kevin Love was in it. So I'm guessing you're not changing your mind based on the fact that he's out of the playoffs completely now.
No, the Bulls will be in the NBA championship this year. They will defeat the Cavaliers.
How many games now, Rob, without Kevin Love? I mean, can the Cavs still keep it close, you think?
I originally had 7. I'll give them 6.
Okay. See, I'm still rolling with them to get to the NBA Finals. I don't know if they can win it without Love, just because mainly, I mean, look, this series is going to be brutal without Kevin Love, just based on the fact of all the collective size Chicago has. Pau Gasol, Taj Gibson, I mean, Noah, all of these, Nikola Mirotic, they have such a big lineup. And I like Timothy Mozgov. They have Tristan Thompson as well. But I still think Kevin Love in that starting lineup gives you that physical edge to do a lot of things. Him being out is huge. It would not be a surprise to me if the Cavs lost the series now without Kevin Love. But I still, when you have Kyrie and you have LeBron playing the way that they are, I'm still not completely ready to call it a quits on you. But we will certainly see. We'll be back with the next segment. It's a great weekend for sports. You have the Kentucky Derby. You have the NFL Draft. You have the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, which we'll be talking about in a minute. There's a lot of things, and there's a good day to just sit on the couch and watch some games. But sit on your couch and continue to watch us. We'll be right back.